We have facilitating this session with the National Science Foundation, Dr. Ashley Hutterson, who serves as a project consultant with this project, with this Alabama A&M project. Dr. Hutterson comes with a wealth of experience. She currently works as in a leadership capacity with the STEM organization in the DC area. She's a graduate of Spelman College as well as a graduate of Meharry College. And she and I have worked together for the past couple of years or more on bringing this project to bear. Dr. Hutterson, thank you so very much for your level of expertise and the brilliance that you bring as project deputy for this project. Thank you so very much.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Rock, for that introduction. As mentioned, my name is Dr. Ashley Hutterson, and I'll be moderating this session, which talks about opportunities for HBCUs and MSIs, especially related to the National Science Foundation. We are fortunate to have a video from one of the program officers at the National Science Foundation, as well as a presentation from another program officer, and I may pronounce your last name wrong, I apologize, Akara. I got it right. So we will start with the video from Dr. Chi-Chi, who is a program officer working with established programs to stimulate competitive research, which is EPSCoR, which is the purpose of this conference as a whole, the Office of the Director, Office of Integrative Activities at the National Science Foundation. So we will first start with the video from Dr. Chi-Chi, and then we'll have a presentation following that.
Greetings. My name is Chinonye Nakwe Whitley, also known as Dr. Chi-Chi, and I'm a program officer at the National Science Foundation with the established program to stimulate competitive research. I want to send my greetings to everyone, including President Eugene, Provost Wims, Representative Hall, Dean Sarkar, and of course our PI, Dr. Teresa Meriwether O'Rourke. I do apologize for not being able to be there in person, as I was so hoping to be able to see the beginning of this amazing adventure. But I do know that this is the first of many events around building up innovation ecosystems within and throughout historically Black colleges and universities. And I do hope to be able to see you in the future. I just want to comment and provide greater context on what the meaning of this event means for the nation. As you know, the National Science Foundation's mission is to promote the progress of science to advance the national health, prosperity, welfare, and to secure the national defense. And upon the entry of our current director, Dr. Sethuraman Panchanathan, we set forth on a strategic vision that includes 3 pillars that are rooted in the legacy of NSF's founding. This includes global competition, where we maintain global leadership in the scientific enterprise, supporting the missing millions, and ensuring that there's accessibility and inclusivity for aspiring scientists and engineers in STEM fields and innovators such as yourselves. We also seek to grow industries of tomorrow to advance the frontiers of research into the future. And upon these 3 pillars rest partnerships, as well as innovation and an innovation mindset. And so it's very important that the mission that you have in building and growing innovation ecosystems within HBCUs and throughout the nation is well aligned with the strategic vision. I thank you all for your efforts and your due diligence in being willing to do the hard work that our nation needs. I hope you have an amazing conference, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you so much. As Dr. Whitley had mentioned earlier, we at the National Science Foundation really applaud the leadership and the guidance which your institution has embarked on to prepare not only employees, but employers. So thank you very much. My presentation here is a representation of what are the different opportunities available for all of us to make sure we have equitable distribution of funds and efforts throughout the nation. I just wanted to give you a background about EPSCoR. EPSCoR was actually established by the National Science Board's resolution in 1978 and mandated in 1980. The purpose of EPSCoR is to make sure that we enhance the competitiveness of research at targeted jurisdictions around and across the nation, including territories across the nation. We have different investment strategies, including the $20 million track ones, the $4 to $6 million track twos, as well as the Research Fellows Program, which is our track 4. EPSCoR also supports different cyber infrastructure and data harnessing activities throughout the foundation through cross-platform innovations and partnerships with the Office of Advanced Cyber Infrastructure and core directorates. With regards to providing for track 2, we are pleased to say that there is a solicitation in the works for January 2022 submission, focusing on advancing research towards industries of tomorrow. And I feel some of these industries are already budding across your jurisdiction. Well, our focus is on advanced manufacturing, advanced wireless, artificial intelligence and machine learning and their applications, biotechnology and its applications, the leap into quantum information systems, and spectrum innovation science. Some of these fundings have already been in the works in the past 5 years, but we look forward to more participation and leadership across this nation, specifically from HBCUs and MSIs, and leadership from you to guide their progress. The key information regarding the track 2 submission, which I mentioned, was the NSF 21518. And as I said before, it's a late January 2022 presentation. We have the contact information over here, and I would be happy to share the slides for it to be included for dissemination. And the next one, which is actually a dear project to me, which is our track 4 project with Dr. Johnson, Dr. Whitley, and me, and Dr. Colomb. This is our EPSCoR Research Fellows Program, where the opportunities are for early career investigators to extend their collaboration and provide for experiential learning through private, governmental, or academic host. Now, the reason we have highlighted private is because of that innovation mindset, which we think is going to be the job creators and not just the job seekers. The budget request may be up to $300,000 for 6 months spread over 2 years. And the 6 months is the visit to the particular academic institution or the private organization or the academic institution which is being collaborated with. Here, the fellows would be highlighting and learning about new techniques, benefit from state-of-the-art equipment available, as well as extending their collaboration beyond that fellowship period. We have had a successful run with these fellowships and are again going to run it for April submission next year. Here, I wanted to also highlight the fact that the research investment for track 4 is for any research institution within the United States on any topic, which is very, very critical. So the interdisciplinary nature and the ecosystem and the entrepreneurship mindset is all prevalent with this diverse, distinguished, and entrepreneurship focus. We also have a collaboration with FAST, which is with the NASA agency. Here, our specific focus areas are based on eligibility with NASA research centers. And please refer to the solicitation for details. We are specifically interested on involving MSIs, PUIs, and HBCUs to your colleges, women colleges, so that you are aware and guided appropriately for the solicitation, which is in April 2022. Any one of the program officers in our directorate would be happy to talk to you to see how we can enable such submissions specifically from HBCUs and MSIs. As I had informed earlier, here are some of the contact information. And from NASA, we have Jeppy Compton, Grace K. Johnson, whose information is here. Please stay tuned for outreach and office hour events in the upcoming future. How can you participate in different opportunities is something which we would like to bring in from Dr. Panch, our director, and Dr. Loretta Moore, who is our section head. We want to make sure that you are participating in the events or in the dissemination of funds, and also participating in the whole process of NSF's work. Please participate in grant writing workshops, NSF days, grant conferences. Please serve as a reviewer, and we'll be happy to guide you in any one of these opportunities. Again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your efforts. And Dr. Orak, thank you so much for your leadership.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. So now we will take any questions from the audience. Again, as a reminder, please submit your questions through the Q&A function in the chat window. So I'll go ahead and get started. You mentioned serving as a reviewer as a potential opportunity to be involved. Can you talk more about that process and how individuals go about becoming a reviewer? And then again, some of the benefits of doing that.
Oh, thank you, Ashley. This is a wonderful question. I started 15 years ago as a reviewer. I was a doctoral student in Pittsburgh with my advisor. So when you sign up, you can sign up as a graduate student, you can sign up to give feedback as a postdoctoral student, early career faculty, mid-career, as well as seasoned faculty. Now, how do you participate? There is information in the NSF portal to register yourself as a reviewer. Also, you could reach Andrea, Chichi, or me, any one of the program officers, so that we can include you in the database for your focus area reviews. If it is a co-directed, we would forward your information to the co-directorate, and the experience level is something which we confuse. We are looking for information from assistant professors as well as from seasoned faculty. So please reach out. Why is it important? Because it lets you learn where you would be focused on when you're writing that proposal. And it also helps your voice be heard in different avenues when funding happens, because it's a public-driven focus where your say is something which NSF hears and moves it forward. So I hope I have answered the question, but I can wait for other questions.
Yes, we have another question that came through the chat. So is there an EPSCoR program that funds research centers at universities? For example, a Center for Multi-Messenger Astrophysics. That's just an example.
We have had funding through what is called a co-funding effort through different co-directorates, which enable such opportunities. We also have funding through the ERCs, which support establishing such. We don't have a standing EPSCoR solicitation for the same, but we are in the works for having a bridge effort to build such solicitations. But if you have a question you want to discuss, we'd be happy to set up an office hour so that we can look into what you're thinking and then direct you. But yes, EPSCoR has funded through co-funding multiple projects where science technology centers and such hubs have been developed, both in Track 2, which is our $5 million 5-year projects, as well as through co-funding.
Excellent. Another question, we are a hub zone, small business located in close proximity to an HBCU in Baltimore, Maryland. Is there any way we can participate in collaboration with the HBCU in any of the programs? They don't specify EPSCoR, but I'm assuming because of the focus of this, that they're talking about it from an EPSCoR perspective.
Yep, so that's a wonderful question. And as you have seen with Dr. Orak's leadership, entrepreneurship and innovation is the core of EPSCoR's mission moving forward. We are in the process of also building a new directorate focusing on entrepreneurship and innovation. To specifically address your question, yes, focusing and trying to partner with the CyberCrops program, which is one of the programs where industry and prototype collaboration could happen, or the SBIR programs, the small business innovation programs, would be something where you could see much targeted solicitation. From EPSCoR, we actually support and co-fund many of those efforts. So if you have a specific idea, focus, or a partner in mind, we would be happy to talk to understand the academic, private, as well as the public partnership which you're trying to build. But there is seed funding, as well as there is establishment of prototype and support for transfer to technology funding, which is the entrepreneurship piece of it. Thank you.
Awesome. Another question. An individual was an early EPSCoR administrator in Louisiana, my home state. Have there been states to graduate from EPSCoR over the life of the program?
Yes, that's a wonderful question. Yes, we have eligibility criteria for EPSCoR funding. The guidance has been updated for FY 2022. The eligibility is based on the amount of taxpayer dollars from the agency, which is mapped to that particular jurisdiction. Yes, states graduate, but I think we have to step back and understand equity. Like a Guam would be different than a Maryland. And so we are in a mindset of not graduating folks, but trying to make sure where EPSCoR jurisdictions can partner with non-EPSCoR jurisdictions and have that holistic response to establishing like, the future of the nation. One thing I would like to highlight is at EPSCoR, we are more interested in bringing you to be competitive at any scale and making sure you go in for that DOE or that NASA or that NIH award, or even an NSF core award. So we are that catalyst to enable that change, and not necessarily hoping to graduate all of or any of us.
Thank you. We have two more questions. You mentioned the January 22nd opportunity for quantum science submission. Can you elaborate further on how participants or interested researchers can obtain more information? And they are referencing a track 2.
Yes, that's a great question. So the industries of the future focus is interdisciplinary. Usually the jurisdiction science technology plan dictates, or you could have your own jurisdictional support across your jurisdiction to build those responses. Office hours are being set up in December and early January. Dr. Swanson would be the best contact. Since the solicitation has not been public, we still don't have exact details to share. But yes, the focus area of quantum, the focus area of data science, machine learning, and future technologies is top of the list. So if you are really interested and have a cool idea, I'd love for you to send that abstract to Dr. Swanson, and then maybe, set up an office hour with him so that he can give you right guidance so that you're ready for the submission.
Thank you. So we have one more question in the chat before we wrap up and give people a little break in between sessions. And I'm going to add a little bit to this question just to kind of flush out a little bit. So the question talks about how do small businesses partner with HBCUs for funding? But to drive that home, to make it to add some fluff, a little bit specificity to it, can you talk about, I guess, some potential ideas or things that you may not have seen that you and your other colleagues would think would be very interesting? For example, we know that oftentimes HBCUs don't partner with each other to apply for large chunks of money. They're usually partnering with PWIs. And so submissions of groups of HBCUs coming together to apply for large funding is something that's usually viewed as being novel and innovative. So if you could talk about some approaches to small businesses partnering with HBCUs that apply to your program that maybe we haven't thought of or we haven't seen come through the pipeline.
Yep. Thank you, Ashley, for the question. So in our directorate specifically, we have multiple programs which motivate because of the interdisciplinary nature of it and the co-funding nature of it. So when I say co-funding, it means that it can be in any directorate, and NSF, EPSCoR will be able to support that funding. So the focus with regards to partnership is something which is led by the home jurisdictions. What we facilitate is the awareness of funds and the awareness of information which is from, let's say, the American Rescue Plan. You know, we got about $10 million to spend for cyber infrastructure equity, which is, you know, we got 17 responses throughout the jurisdiction. So this was a targeted effort to include multiple HBCUs to respond to the equity aspect in CI. So because we are so interdisciplinary and fluid, it helps us a lot to answer to our communities. So when actually you asked me the question about what are the information, there's tons of information from HSI directorates of specific you know, lead co-directorates, but we are the ones who can lead you to that or help you with that co-funding. With regards to the next solicitations, if you look at your track 1 or a track 2 right now, you could have more impetus if you put that in mind, that this is our goal of increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion. So you will be, you know, thought better, or you would be ranked better because of your focus to build that equity. So I would suggest that, like, you know, having that conversation with individual POs, trying to see what your core mission and goals for your jurisdiction is would really help.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us today and asking amazing questions. I would like to encourage all of the participants, if you have additional questions, if you have ideas around collaboration or suggestions, to use this conference today as an opportunity to network, meet your other colleagues, as well as reach out to Dr. Arak and her team around ideas of how we can work together and partner together. HBCUs provide a unique niche in society, and so we definitely want to see them thrive and function, especially when it comes to innovation and entrepreneurship. So with that, I will officially close out this session, and I hope to see everyone at our next session, which starts at 10:30, entitled Commercialization and Entrepreneurship at HBCUs. Thank you.